Ooh, evil NEN, baby, beware people. Ooh. Now we got like some haunting shit going into the Hunter x Hunter chapter, or novel. It's novel, and people know that I've been like giving a little bit of a challenge to Togashi and all that throughout the entirety of this, and that was counting down the amount of chapters. And I said, from the start, I remember like saying in that video when he was supposed to return, I give him 8 weeks. He's delivered. He's done 8 weeks. I'm allowing him to have a break now at this point. He can have 1 or 2 weeks off now, and I'll be completely fine with that circumstances that he does that. But like now, seeing from this chapter, I was like, oh dear fucking Christ, novel. Like it was even worse in this chapter where it was like, fucking Christ. My brain just decided, like, as I was reading this, like, a good majority of it, like that, as, like, when we were seeing, like, Kurapika planning and all that, my brain just, like, frazzled and just disintegrated after reading this stuff. The day for, like, the Dark Continent is arriving, and, like, now we're gonna, like, embark on a big, brand new journey, and I felt like there was a big, like, part in the chapter when they were saying, like, from, like, you know, you're gonna witness a great chapter in history from every, like, from here on out, every single one will experience, like, history there right before your eyes. I feel like, in a way, obviously that's addressing the crowd, but I feel like maybe that's the guy saying, I've got plans for this shit, so, you know, step back and, you know, fucking be amazed. And just seeing, like, the amount of fucking people that are there already on this giant fucking ship, just getting ready for this to set off, and like, yeah, let's have, like, you know, King Kaki and himself like that come out like that. He's like, Nasubi, like, Yuji, like, he's like coming out there, it's like, I am the great king and all that, you know, like, I am the great king of Kaki like that, and I want to say and all that, you know, like, we're gonna claim the new continent, we're gonna make, you know, embark on this great journey. And just the amount of fucking people that are, like, you know, on this ship itself, like, holding millions upon millions of people like that. It's ridiculous and all that. Like, and you get to see, like, you know, beyond that row, finally, you know, he's released after everything, and seeing, like, you know, he's there with, like, every one of, like, the princes as well, which you can clearly see him and all that, which we, like, I like how, like, we firstly get to see, like, the one prince that we saw that was, like, you know, just battling fucking, like, a lions, and it was just being a badass, and seeing, like, you know, all of them clearly have their own agenda on mind that they're gonna be beating the shit out of each other. It's like, alright, and like honestly, like the whole thing of like how the plan of like the princes and all that, and like the regulations, as they know that this is gonna be going down on this ship, and like considering like how massive it is like everyone left, is that there are 5 levels to this ship. Like the first one is like only royal family and like I think it was like political VIPs. The second has various celebrities and prominent figures as well as the wealthy upper class, and then the third is general, like, you know, purposes and like, you know, regular passages, like going down and down from that, and you know it gets worse, and then engineering and what have you. And just the amount of like how King Kaking did just not plan this at all, how this was going to work, apart from like the first stage really, as like we got all these guards, there's no fucking like hardly any like medical officers and all that, like a bunch of people like was scammed and had some bullshit happen, as we get to see, like, you know, what they were like clearly explaining is that, you know, like the like out of like there's like 3 treatment facility rooms and like on the 3rd deck, and they have like only a couple of resident doctors, and it's like the Zodiacs are like fucking got their hands full just trying to deal with this shit and trying to like, you know, like use its chaos and stuff like that, and it's just like this right now is like that is a complete and utter like, you know, nightmare down there. So Kurapika's there, like, as you can clearly see, he's like planning everything like with the queen. He's like queen, like, you know, he's all like, we need to sort this stuff out, and it's just like, look, I just want you to know the knowledge of that, you know, there is shit gonna be going down, you know, we've got to prepare for it, you know, where the lifeboats is, you gotta like plan for all this stuff, and pretty much, you know, that's like a majority of like through a nutshell, because I could ring you, like, tell you every single thing that, you know, Kurapika was gonna do, but I don't want to put you through the same stuff, because I think there's a point where it's like information, like, even though it, like some of it is interesting and finding out, like, I feel like this is an issue with like Togashi's writing at some points, where it's like he's doing it, I think, like just so he can be complex and interesting, like, you know, try and be interesting, but at points it isn't interesting. And honestly, like, I think like what, like, as a casual reader, like, you probably won't mind as much, but I feel like for me, like, and as a like a big part of me like comes into entertainment through all of it, there's a point of it where it just stops being entertainment, and it's like, you know, how much of this stuff is generally going to matter at the end of it, like, you know, coming into it. It's like, yeah, like that was the one part I was a little bit annoyed about, although I was kind of interesting about like how King Kakin just did not plan this at all, and that, like, you know, like, fucking out of everyone, like, you know, Mizai and, like, you know, like, Chitu there, like, trying to hold things down, like, trying to sort everything up, and just, like, how, like, the Queen just started shaking. It was just like, oh, I started to shit myself. But then the clown shoe shit that happened as, like, Kurapika, like, turns around and just notices some big evil NEN fucking pile like that completely disappears, and he's just like, what, you know, like, people are like, you know, what the fuck's wrong, like, Kurapika? And it's like, you didn't notice, but that cradle, you know, that there's something wrong with that fucking, like, if that baby had the same thing as, like, as the other princes did, they had that weird fucking deity bullshit, like, that happened to them with their NEN powers like that, like, so that's really scary. And, like, they've clearly said that, like, it was like every Sunday that all the princes and all that, they're gonna come out and they're gonna have a meal and they're gonna talk things out, they're gonna try and, like, you know, sort all this stuff out. And where it honestly sounds like kind of like a fucking, like who did it murder, like, where it sounds like a setting up. Everyone's going to be at that table, they're going to be talking and stuff, people are going to start doubting one another, there are points where, you know, people are going to break or snap, and it's like, oh, there's going to be trials here. And I feel like, especially as well with what, like, Kurapika just noticed from that kid, like that, like, I think that's, like, you know, like, the Queen has clearly been lying to him, that, you know, like, there is a backup just in case the whole stuff with Kurapika just doesn't work. And I feel like, yeah, don't trust, like, you know, this bullshit, because there's going to be something like going into here. So honestly, I really did enjoy the chapter at some parts. We're finally beginning the Dark Continents, like, you know, part of it. We're finally, like, making that giant voyage. Who knows how long we're going to be on that ship for, though, with Kurapika. And it's just like, how many people, like, I'm curious to see how, like, you know, how long it's going to be until we actually get to see the Dark Continent itself, and, like, how truly terrifying it is. But it sounds like, you know, just the voyage itself is going to be an absolute nightmare. And I don't think that this voyage is going to go too well. And even that the people that arrive there, it's like, well, we're already having these terrible, like, conditions and climate, you know, and all this shit here. What the fuck's going to happen when we arrive here to, like, build new land on the Dark Continent, and it's like finding out that it's like a barren wasteland, and that they're probably going to have to leave those millions of people behind. There's a lot of stuff that can happen on this voyage, like, when they arrive, and, you know, who knows that they're going to fucking leave as well. I feel like they maybe didn't plan this too well, and it's just like, yeah, that's the king for you. He's like, oh, I'm going to do it because I'm special, I can do this. No, you fucked up and all that. So he's like, what's going to happen and all that. So we'll honestly have to wait and see, like, what's going to be happening. But that's all for me, though. Like, you know, I enjoyed the chapter. I think overall, I think, like, the big info dump that we was getting, some of it was good, but I feel like the bar, like, with Kurapika planning and everything like that, I think, like, it was getting a little bit boring, and I think I expect fans and all that, and a bunch of people as well, like, regular readers, I feel like they might be getting a little bit annoyed by that. So honestly, I will probably give this episode, like, you know, out of everything and all that, I give this chapter a 7. I think this is a good chapter, don't get me wrong. There's definitely some build up with some mystery, and, like, obviously there's, like, some, like, you know, guess who, you know, who done it kind of stuff, like, coming into it, where, like, all, like, we're gonna be having some crime shit going around. Like, I honestly expect some Detective Conan stuff, like, coming up to it, so I'm really excited about that part, because I love fucking Detective Conan, so I'm looking forward to those parts when it comes into it. But other than that, yeah, there were some issues, and honestly, I have to clap. Congratulations, Tagashi. You met my expectations of doing 8 chapters. You can have the break now. I'm like, you know, that's still fucking more than I expected you to come back for. So, you know, let's see, like, how long we're going to actually get for. Can we get a full year, like, near a full year of Tagashi? You know, like, I know, that's done. But let's focus on 20 chapters. Like, I feel like the next, like, goal we're going for Tagashi is, like, 16 to, like, 20. Like, get a whole season's worth of material out there. But that's all for me, so thank you much for watching as always. You enjoy Hunter as much as I do, you know, hit that like, you know, hit that subscribe. That's all for me, so I will see you guys, though, next time.